Hello, this is Attorney Andrew Kinney. I'm the Senior Social Security Attorney at Hoglund Law Offices, headquartered in Roseville, Minnesota. I do Social Security hearings full time. I do them across the country, usually by video or phone, and I help over 500 people a year with their hearings. Today, in this video, I wanted to talk about the applying for benefits, when to apply. That's usually a really important question, and it's usually a threshold question before anything else happens. But before I continue, just make sure to know that if this is general advice, if you have particular legal questions, it's good to get your own attorney. You're welcome to call our offices at 651-628-4001 if you have particular legal questions. I certainly don't want anyone commenting below with anything that's personal, because it would not be personal anymore. Anyway, more about when to apply for Social Security benefits. Usually I find that if I'm talking to someone, they're evaluating whether they should stop working. There are medical issues that they have. One of the first questions I ask is what they're doing now and how is it going. If someone is able to work through medical issues, maybe they take some FMLA, but overall they're able to continue working, I try to advise them to continue working. Working is better whenever possible. I tell people that there are rules about when you can apply for Social Security disability and SSI benefits. The first rule is if you're currently working, you cannot be working SGA. SGA stands for Substantial Gainful Activity. This year, the year of this recording of the video in 2024, it's a little over $1,500 a month. If you are making $1,500 or more gross per month, you are working too much and cannot apply for Social Security disability or SSI. And these are hard, fast rules about getting in the door. If you think you're going to have a bad month and then you're going to make less than that, but you'll make more than that later, I would not advise that person to apply. The goal here is we're looking for medical issues that, despite treatment, are not getting better. So the first thing I try to convey to people is work as long as you can, but work with your doctor's advice. If your doctor takes you off work, maybe temporarily, that's one thing. But if your doctor is telling you to reduce your hours for either physical or emotional reasons to part-time, or perhaps not work at all, that's usually an indicator that you should apply for Social Security disability benefits. Social Security benefits are intended for people that either have been off work for a full year or expect to. You do not need to wait a full year before you apply a full year off work. If you have a problem that's significant and for instance, a stroke, and you expect that you'll be unable to work for a full year, or you aren't sure, if you're not sure, but you definitely cannot work now and your recovery is slow, I generally advise people that perhaps applying for Social Security with a significant event, for instance, a car accident, things like that, if they're significant enough and doctors are not sure within 6 months if you're going to get better and be able to function enough to work full time, that would be a time to apply too. It's not a science here, but these are general ideas, and you could revisit if you choose not to apply at some juncture after a major life event, a major medical event. You can change your mind and apply later. Maybe make a plan. If there's no recovery, for instance, from a stroke within perhaps 6 months or 3 months, maybe a new doctor visit when they're seeing recovery. Hopefully there's full recovery for whatever you have. But again, these problems need to expect to last 1 year. If you apply with a problem that won't expect to last 1 year, that would very likely mean a denial. So with how Social Security works, we talked about substantial gainful activity. If you're currently working, that's how they define if you are currently working, even if you make a high hourly wage and don't work many hours per month. The goal is measuring your gross monthly income. That means before taxes and before any expenses. Another thing people talk to me about, if they are lucky enough to have short-term disability through their work, is that they're going on short-term disability, which might last 6 months, and they're unsure if they'll go on long-term disability if it's available. I usually advise people, if they know that they will, like I mentioned earlier, be unable to return to work within a year, or at least that's a big question mark. Talk with their doctor about the idea. At some point, depending on the combination of medical issues you have, the idea is that if you're unlikely to get better and be able to return to full-time work within a year, looking forward in time, looking into the future, I would advise you to apply. Um, One of the other things that I bring up with people based on the medical problems they have is it might be that their current job is very physical, for example, and they have a bad back. Social Security, for those under 50 years old, Social Security will evaluate if they can return to some other kind of work. So, in other words, if you have medical problems and you cannot do your current work, but it's very physical work, keep in mind that if you are under 50, these are general rules here, you should consider looking into doing some other line of work. You might not be able to return to your past chosen line of work, your career, but other work is something that's on the table for Social Security. They wonder if there's full-time work, not necessarily making the same money or even requiring any training. It's good to consider whether a change of your career is in order if you have problems that don't let you do a job that is too physical for you, for example, or too high stress for mental health issues. If you are near age 50, within roughly 6 months of age 50 or less, then different rules apply. If you cannot return to your chosen line of work, if you have, for instance, very physical work and you're over age 50, if you cannot do your past work, let's say do a shoulder problems or a back problem, that may allow an approval. Just keep in mind too that Social Security's application and reconsideration determinations generally deny people, and they can take perhaps a total of a year to find out. If, even though you're over 50 and the rules are in your favor, Social Security only looks to see if you can return to your past kind of work. If you decide you will shift careers and do something else, perhaps less physical or less stressful, my advice is to try to do that, because Social Security benefits do not replace income. They help when you have no income, but they're not intended to give you the same income. What you would get per month, you can find out through Social Security online, if approved for disability insurance. And if you don't have enough of a work history, SSI might pay a little over $900 a month these days. Again, if you've been working full time, $900 a month is not much. So your decisions whether you should apply for benefits ultimately are about the severity of the combination of problems you have, what doctors are telling you, and whether within a year of work ending you really couldn't maybe do something else. Generally, it's good to try to regroup if possible, but again, get your doctor's advice about what you should or shouldn't do. But I do tell people that we're happy to help them apply, but we do evaluate, is the medical problem they have significant enough? If, for instance, someone has a medical problem that isn't too severe, I'll use an example of mild depression. It might affect their ability to do a stockbroker job, but it might not affect their ability to do maybe something else. So our office, with everyone that wants our help, evaluates individual situations like that and determines whether we can make a difference in their case. And then finally, I wanted to address one other thing. Social Security allows early retirement at age 62, but you don't get your full retirement amount. You get a portion of it. So in essence, you're penalized for retiring early at 62 up through your full retirement age, which varies based on the year you're born. But some people retire early due to disability. What I recommend is that if they need to get the funds, that they retire early if they need that, but they should also at the same time definitely have a disability claim pending, because you can undo the early retirement decision if you're approved. That's one of the exceptions to retiring early, is if later Social Security decides you were disabled the whole time, you would get more per month usually, and it would undo the early retirement commitment. Generally, people aren't aware of that. So in other words, if you're retiring early through Social Security because of medical reasons, and it does not stop you from also having a Social Security disability claim. All right, that's all I have here. Again, this is Attorney Andrew Kinney. Hopefully this is helpful. Feel free to put comments below if it is, or if you want other kinds of videos. I want to help as many people as I can, and I'm glad if this helps anyone.